A mix of social media, politics, censorship coming to light after a confession from Meta CEO Jeff Zuckerberg. He admits bowing to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content related to the COVID pandemic. In a letter to House lawmakers, Zuckerberg also addressed the handling of the Hunter Biden laptop story. CBN's Jenna Browder reports.
In his bombshell admission to the House Judiciary Committee, Mark Zuckerberg adds that he regrets caving to the demands of the Biden White House to censor COVID-19 content on Facebook and Instagram. The Meta CEO writing, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken." Adding, "I feel strongly we should not compromise our content standards, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again."
It's definitely concerning when you have a presidential administration trying to influence content moderation policies.
Derek Green, chairman of Cedarville University's Communication Department.
What it does is really bring to light that there's a lot of pressure on how social media presents its content, what they allow to be present on their platforms, and that pressure is coming from all different types of people. And in this case, it's coming from the highest levels of the government.
On Capitol Hill, members of the House Judiciary Committee celebrated the letter, with Chairman Jim Jordan calling it a big win for free speech. The letter also referenced the Hunter Biden laptop story. Zuckerberg writing the company shouldn't have demoted content about the corruption allegations ahead of the 2020 election, adding that Facebook has since changed its policies and processes to make sure it doesn't happen again. The White House responding, "Our position has been clear. We believe tech companies should take into account the effects their actions have on the American people while making independent choices."
So you had Twitter, and now Facebook admits that they also suppressed the story under pressure from the government. But the problem here is that the anti-free speech movement today is being pushed in large part by the media. And they're just not reporting as much as they should on these stories because they were part of it.
Legal scholar Jonathan Turley writes about these issues in his new book, The Indispensable Right, Free Speech in an Age of Rage. One growing controversy is disinformation, which Turley addressed in an interview with CBN's Gary Lane.
Well, disinformation is very much part of the effort to censor, and it's ramping up as we speak. You know, the interesting about the book is it talks about how the Adams administration engaged in, as you know, the actual arrests and prosecution of opponents of John Adams. The book also says that Joe Biden is arguably the most anti-free speech president since John Adams.
And he fears it could continue under a Harris administration.
Free speech is on the ballot. I don't think democracy is, but free speech is.
And Turley also pointed out Zuckerberg fought relentlessly to withhold documents on censorship. The letter came only after the House Judiciary Committee forced him to release those documents. Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Again, this all coming to light from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Gordon?
And he put it in writing, which ought to go down in history. Again, where's the outrage here? That you have a sitting administration who the head of Facebook is put in writing that administration going into its election actively suppressed information that would have been damaging to the campaign. That is incredible to me. And then the White House issuing some statement essentially defending it, that, you know, we have to protect the American people. Protect them from what? The truth of what Hunter Biden did, what he recorded on his laptop. In a free society, that should be an open book. It should have been, okay, here's what happened, and vote accordingly, instead of trying to suppress it. On the COVID vaccination, the misinformation directly coming from the health authorities is absolutely stunning. And that the incidence of cardiac problems from that, particularly for young men, seems to have been actively suppressed. Let me add another one. the suppression of information about the source of the virus and the number of so-called scientists who said, well, there's no way this could have been done in a lab. We've examined the virus, and this had to be a natural mutation or a natural adaptation. This wasn't any kind of gain of function that, by the way, the U.S. government funded. All of this is getting us to a stage where people can't believe anything. And I think that's the end game. It's not, I want you to believe that the COVID vaccine is completely safe and effective, regardless of your age. And, you know, everyone, including children, should take it. Or, you know, don't pay any attention to the laptop and what's on the laptop. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It's not about the truth or falsity of any of that. I think the end game here is to have so much disinformation and then suppression of accurate information that people give up and they say, I can't find truth anymore. What is truth? That's a question as old as Pontius Pilate. And Pontius Pilate standing before Jesus, who said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And he's asking him, what is truth? Well, let me ask you, what do you believe? And in that belief, are you putting Jesus first? And are you following him? Because he is the truth. It's not, the question is, what is truth? Who is truth? Who is your Savior? Who are you modeling yourself after? Who are you trying to strive to be like? In the words of the Apostle John, as he was in this world, so are we. As Christians, let us make sure that we're beacons of light and of truth, that we're salt in our culture in order to preserve it.